Cool. Understood.
In the future, it's likely many people will have one of these in their home. After all, it will sing songs and dance for your kids, or tell you how to cook a meal, or teach maths. But this could be a classroom assistant.
Exactly.
But what interests business about these robots is that they can be put in a supermarket and tell you where the yogurt is, or go into the lobby of an office block and tell you where to meet your contact.
We're speaking to large blue-chip companies who want to use them in their offices. We're speaking to care home providers. We're speaking to hotels, car manufacturers to use in their showrooms, a whole variety of financial organisations, banks, retail, supermarkets, quite a large sector.
Businesses are extremely cagey about talking about their interest in artificial intelligence. Not surprising, given that robots or algorithms could replace humans in any number of ways. Jobs in insurance, the law, financial services, other clerical roles are already being lost. Entire professions are projected to disappear. And if a robot can be designed to build a house in a couple of days, and the movement of goods will be performed without humans, then it's clear that in rich countries, vast numbers of jobs in all pay grades could be at risk. In agriculture, designers are working on a robot which can distinguish between leaves and stalks to pick fruit. Very little appears outside the imagination. Some people are genuinely asking what jobs there might be left for humans actually to do, and one answer seems to be things with our hands, because robots don't have motor skills, so things perhaps like working with food or cutting hair or gardening. But clearly much of this is monotonous and it's not very well paid. So who will give us money or pay for things if we no longer work or raise taxes? Increasingly it's being suggested that a so-called universal income may be the answer, being paid not to work.
Today, suddenly universal basic income is a serious policy option. There's lots of experiments going on as to how it can be done, what effect does it have. It's moved much more into the mainstream, and that, I think, is a consequence of all the changes that we're seeing going on.
To provide the United States of America, every citizen in the United States of America, with a decent basic income, or I think they were using a income scheme, would cost a quarter of the military spend budget in America. So it's not unfeasible.
But the biggest question of all is whether it would make us happier. Could it be that technology offers us the option of having almost all time to ourselves? And if so, is it a dream come true, or would we get bored? Cautiously, the world of business is asking where the boundaries are and what we are prepared to accept. Lawrence Lee, Al Jazeera, London.
Now, earlier we spoke to Joanna Bryson, who's an associate professor at the University of Bath and researches artificial intelligence. She believes in the future we'll always need humans to program robots, but replacing humans with algorithms can be tricky.
It's important to remember that the A in artificial intelligence, the A in AI, the artifact, a robot is always built by someone, it's bought by someone, it's designed by someone. It's always a human or a human corporation that's responsible. So the question is, what would motivate corporations to get rid of all of their humans and replace their humans entirely with robots? So it makes sense to try to make your human employees as productive as possible, but it's not clear that it makes sense to have a company with no people whatsoever. We have already had artificial intelligence in various forms, for decades, depending how you define the term. So if you're looking for something that's exactly human, you're not going to see it ever. We're not going to build a robot that's exactly like an ape, an ape with a computer stuck on it. That's just not going to happen. But if you look at sort of the continuum of how robots have been, or automation in general has been being brought in, then you might say that there's already some excesses. I think the most dangerous thing is actually not so much the unemployment, but the fragility if you have one algorithm rather than hundreds of people. So a really good example is Facebook was asked by the Republicans in the last American election to replace hundreds of human editors with a single algorithm. And then it turns out with a single algorithm, it's easy for fake news to find a way around it. So now Facebook has rehired the humans.